Hello there everybody, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays Grounded, where we are learning more about nature by playing this amazing game. Now we have lots to do today, however this will be a relatively short episode. Our first objective is to finally make the Widow Dagger, and in order to do that, I need to go kill another Widow. I have 3 of the Super Spider Venom, as you can see here, and I have killed a few of the Black Widows. However, I have not gotten the 4th one, so I'm going to go get that quickly. Now, as I was running up to actually go fight the Widows, I remembered that Axel pointed out that I should be making the green machine smoothies, because that is good healing as all the smoothies are, especially if you pair it with a muscle sprout, but it also gives you hyper stamina and is extremely easy to craft. I've got a whole bunch of algae, sprigs and clover leaves ready for this smoothie, and I'm going to make as many of it as I possibly can. And this is going to hopefully help us out in the fight with the Widows as well. Now, as we are making our way up to the upper yard to fight the first of the Black Widows, just a reminder that I will be returning to 2 videos a week soon, as I have been busy and away in the field for a while now. But as you are watching this video, I should be on my way home and will hopefully arrive home shortly. And also just a reminder to please go and vote for what series you would like to see next after Grounded. I have a bunch of things I need to do off screen with Grounded first before I can finish it up, because I do want to have that 100% completion. But as soon as that is done then, and as soon as the series is then done, I would of course like to do another series. I would like to do one that you guys want most. So vote in the community tab and let me know which one you would like me to do next. And now, off to the first of the Widows. Now the first one we are fighting is one that I had fought previously when grinding to try and get enough of the Super Spider Venom in order to actually craft the Black Widow Dagger, and that one is found by blowing up a rock that is an entranceway here and then going in and dropping down into this hole. Thanks also to Jack Malcolm, who pointed out that a rusty spear, a mighty rusty spear, may actually be a very useful weapon against the Black Widow down there. Oh, well, to any of the Black Widows actually, because the Black Widows seem to have a 50% resistance to all damage types except stabbing, where it just has a 25% resistance. Okay, come on. There is a little widowling up there, and unfortunately I can't get to it. As for the mutations I'm going for, obviously meat shield again, coup de grace, spicy safety to protect against the piercing damage or stabbing damage by the Widows. I am going to put Mithridatism on here just because of the Widowlings that are here as well, and then Corporate Kickback, which we got from defeating Director Schmechter in the previous episode, and I'm hoping that it also helps me to defend myself quite nicely. I've also put my 33 Green Machine Smoothies, beefy Green Machine Smoothies, on the hotbar down there as well. And now, let's have a look and see how this little guy, this rusty spear, does against the Black Widow, which is right there. Remember again that technically she has extremely poor eyesight, like most of the web-dwelling spiders would have, like the orb weavers, which we have been battling this entire time in the game. So let's give her a reason to come over here, shall we? And immediately the level 9 Rusty Spear is doing quite a lot of damage against her. I am most impressed. And there come the Widowlings. Okay, the Widowlings are dead, which I'm very thankful for. Now it's just you and me, Mama. Okay, most of that blocked. Great stuff. Now, of course, the hyper stamina of the green machine also really helping us regenerate stamina quite quickly. And there's another Widowling. And another one dead. Now, just before we finish off this widow mother over here. Just a little note here that I mentioned previously that female widows, like this one over here, would of course kill males very often when mating. And males are the size of the little ones over here. So very big sexual dimorphism here, where males and females are either very differently colored, which they are. Males often look like this, and the females, the coloration is like this, black with the red on the back there, whereas males have a little bit of white in there as well. And of course, this is a very big size difference too, with the females really being much larger than the males. However, the males seem to, as was pointed out as well in the comments, the males do sometimes cut the webs of the females to prevent her from realizing that they are there. They also seem to actually mix in their silk with the female's silk. I'm not sure how, and the articles I read about this did not explain how long before the male approaches a female he will do this. It may be that she then gets accustomed to the scent of the male so that he can approach her relatively safely. But apart from that, the males actually announce that they are on their way to the female by rhythmically tapping and bouncing up and down on the web of the female to show that, well, I am on my way, I am not food, I am actually a male that has other intentions than to be eaten by you. And they do this by tapping in a certain rhythm, a rhythm that is different from the rhythm that the trapped prey would actually have, because as prey gets stuck in the web, they will of course tap in a certain way as they're struggling to get free, but males will give a different rhythm, and the female knows that there is a male coming, and she then either chooses to eat him when mating or just let him be. And very often it seems that they will not eat the male. It's not guaranteed that the female will actually eat the male. Now, that being said, let's protect all male widows in this area by killing this female as soon as we can, because we are after the super spider venom, of course. And there we go. We also got the super spider venom. Yay! And now that we've got everything, of course, we can craft the Widow Dagger, finally. And as is customary, of course, we are going to upgrade it to level 5 to start with. And of course, now that we have the dagger, we are going to be using it. And we are going to be using it in the tire that is lying in the upper yard over here. So here we are at the tire. And I was really hoping there would be a place here to build a zip line to connect to one of our other towers. However, there's a whole bunch of grasses in the way which we cannot clear. Anyway, so what we are here for is down there. In there is a chest, and as you can see there, it contains a molar, but it also contains a recipe for the bomb arrow. And in order to get the key, the sticky key that you need to actually open up the chest, you need to go along to the wall there. Right over there, there is a brick that is missing. And in order to get to that, you need to climb on top of the lawnmower over here, run along the handle over there, jump down to the ladder, run along, and then climb along the vines, along the ivy, up to the hole in the wall. And then inside a piece of gum, you will find the very important sticky key, which you will use to open up the chest over here. Now, we have inside here a whole bunch of Spiny Water Fleas, which really are not my favorite. I am going to be putting on my wonderful little bubble helmet, which we haven't used in ages. Unfortunately, I don't have my flippers. I don't know where that is. And I'm also going to equip the Mertine ability, or mutation rather than the Natural Explorer, because Mertine over here is going to give me longer breath underwater and a little bit faster swimming speed. And then we are going to need some kind of underwater weapon, which will be our rusty spear. And let's jump down here. And immediately we are going to be swarmed by these Spiny Water Fleas. Much faster than the normal old boring water fleas we have grown accustomed to. And much more dangerous as well. However, just staying at the surface, one should be able to give them a few pokes. Or alternatively, jumping along here and equipping your bow, you should also be able to give them a few shots. We're just going to go down, get one or two of them to come to us. Oh, here they come. Okay. Too many already. Now they've all congregated around me here. And with that, let's have a quick look at them, shall we? Yes, now they're definitely the spiny water flea, and you can tell they are by the fact that they have 3 pairs of these spines along their longish tail. Now, the adults will have these 3 to 4 pairs of spines. The juveniles will only have 1 pair of spines. Now, these appear to be the sexually produced ones. So ones produced from sexually produced eggs. And you can tell that by the ones that are produced parthenogenically. As we discussed previously with the normal water fleas, they are able to reproduce parthenogenically. In other words, a female just creating a new clone of herself inside her own body. But the parthenogenically created ones will have a big kink in the tail over here, where the tail will go and then really have a big bend in it, which is not present in these ones. So they are the ones that were laid or that were produced by sexually produced eggs. Very, very interesting. Now, this species here, the spiny water flea, is really very, very invasive. They are taking over quite a few parts, quite a few of the Great Lakes in North America as well, and to some extent also in Canada. And they may pose quite a big problem to the ecosystems over there. Now, the main problem with them invading an area is that they do 2 things. They are vicious predators, firstly, and that, of course, then tends to influence the population of the prey animals that they are feeding on. In many cases, they are feeding on things like Daphnia, like the normal water flea. And they're not that closely related to them, so it's not like they are cannibals or anything like that, but they do predate on the other water flea species. And they're able to very easily detect my presence in the water based on the fact that they have got very sensitive hairs that they will use to, of course, detect food or predators in the water. But as I was saying, they will tend to feed on things like normal Daphnia, normal water fleas, which will then, of course, reduce those creatures' populations. In essence, reducing the food available to a variety of other creatures. Haha, got that one shot in the chest. Brilliant. Another one. So this is a good strategy to try and use. Get them to come a bit closer. Jump and then shoot them with your crossbow. Wait for your crossbow to technically be reloaded. And repeat. And in this pond over here, they're relatively easy to try and clear. But as I was saying, they do, of course, eat a whole bunch of invertebrates in the aquatic ecosystems that they invade. And apart from that, they also, and let's just open up this chest now that everything is safe, they also will compete with a variety of other creatures, like fish, for example. Small fish that will normally be feeding on... Oh, there are 2 molars in here. Oh, my word. Like the small fish that would normally be feeding on the Daphnia, on the water fleas, now they are being outcompeted by these guys because they are feeding on their food, and then they don't have anything to feed on, and their populations may actually decrease. Now, the reason these spiny water fleas are so spiny is because they are, of course, trying to reduce predators feeding on them. So they are trying to reduce predation risk, as I'm just trying to increase the chance of me getting out of this place. I must say the parkour element I'm not a very big fan of in this game, mainly because I'm not very good at it. However, I have managed to find my way out. Wow, first try. Brilliant. Now that we've got that recipe, that waterlogged recipe, we should be able to craft a new type of arrow, the bomb arrow, which requires gunpowder clumps, fungal growth, and the splinter arrows. Should be quite easy to make, and that will allow us to easily harvest things like gum nuggets that are up on the benches or somewhere else. Now, just as we are running home, the invasion by the spiny water fleas in areas where they were not naturally found. So they originally are from Europe and Asia, but they have invaded large parts of North America, of the freshwater lakes there, mainly through the use of ballast water. So water used by ships to maintain their, to maintain their position in the water. That's the ballast water. So they probably invaded with the ballast water being dumped in the Great Lakes. And the side effect of that is that because they're feeding on Daphnia, some Daphnia species, some of the water fleas, actually have reduced metabolic rates and growth rates. And that may be an adaptation to survive longer periods without food, so that they don't have to go out foraging for food or filter feeding for food as frequently. And now let's get back here to Castle Moldark, where we have the tiger mosquitoes again. Now, it's easy to say that these tiger mosquitoes are just a reskin of the original mosquitoes. However, they're actually a very different species, and in this game, it would have been really cool if one of their features was actually brought to the front, and that is that they are responsible for a variety of diseases. They are the ones responsible for things like yellow fever, which really has wiped out a whole bunch of people. Now, the reason I know this is that species is by looking on the back here. These white lines, the markings along here, it actually should have been a little bit more liney over there, but this is typical of the Aedes aegypti, the tiger mosquito, the one that is responsible for yellow fever and a variety of other diseases as well. Now, if they had brought in that, it really would have changed things a little bit more, where it's not just a more difficult mosquito to deal with, it's actually quite life-threatening potentially. Well, imagine every time they bite you, you get some kind of disease that seriously debuffs you, drains your health. And then suddenly it's no longer just avoid being bitten by these things, but it's really avoid being bitten by these things, because you could go into the so-called death spiral. Now, the reason we are clearing these guys is because I want to go down into the water over there as well. And I'm not going to perfect block these guys because I don't want them going out of range. I do want to just kill them where they stand, where I am. And I don't want them bouncing away with my perfect blocks. Now, of course, if they had brought in disease being carried by these tiger mosquitoes, that strategy of just standing there, tanking their bites, and systematically wiping them out with a melee weapon would not have worked, because you would have had to really perfect block them every time, and then they would bounce away. You know, all kinds of things. And now that we've done that, let's quickly head into the water here. We've cleared most of the mosquitoes out of the area, which should allow us at least a little bit of respite, as we now only have to deal, I say only, but we have to deal with the water fleas that are down here as well. Because we are after pond moss. Now, one spiny water flea at a time one can deal with. They're not that deadly, but once you get swarmed, you really are in for a world of pain. And here we go, pond moss. So let's quickly get out our widow dagger and harvest that. Now we need at least 10 pieces of the pond moss over here to make the assassin's breastplate, which we are hoping to make today. And we have made it. We have now officially have 10, and any we get now will be a bit of a bonus. And so with 42 pond moss in our inventory, we are making our way back home. And we are finally going to be making the assassin's armor. So that means, of course, that next time we are going to be taking on the mantis again, but we will be fully equipped in our mantis armor, wielding the mantis scythe, the scythe of the blossoms. And, well, tune in next time to see how that goes. And so, all decked out in the assassin's armor and wielding the Scythe of Blossoms, we are ready to go face off against the Mantis again. And that we will do next time. So remember to please vote for the series you would like to see next after Grounded. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Hope you learned something new about the weird spiny water fleas up at the top there. Until next time then, everybody, stay safe. I will see you all soon.